The next day, she goes to visit her mother in the hospital and waits for her in her office. She's happy to see her mother holding their photo album, but when she opens it, she's surprised to find pictures of her mother with another man and their daughter. Lynn confronts her mother, asking when she divorced her father. Her mother tells her it was 10 years ago. Lynn breaks down, feeling betrayed by her mother for not telling her the truth all these years and not understanding why she abandoned her and her sisters. She cries, trying to explain to her mother how she feels. But Lynn doesn't listen and tells her that she's given up on her and her sisters and doesn't love them anymore. Lynn leaves the hospital crying and wanders the city, reminiscing about her memories with her mother. At night, Zhang prepares to go to his training with his team. He receives a call from Abuland, who tells him that Lynn isn't answering her phone, and they don't know where she is. Zhang gets worried and goes to look for her. He searches everywhere but fails to find her. When she finally answers his call, he scolds her and asks her where she is. She tells him she's at her usual spot, and Zhang rushes there. When he arrives, he finds her crying uncontrollably. Zhang carries her on his back and walks with her like before. Lynn is drunk and delirious, so Zhang has to take her to a hotel to sleep. He watches over her while she sleeps. When Lynn wakes up, her brother calls her to check on her. She refuses to tell him that their parents divorced. When she hangs up, she's scared, especially when Zhang ends up in the same room as her. She quickly gathers her things and leaves, but Zhang comes out of another room and tells her to wait for him. They go to eat together, and Lynn tells him about her parents' divorce and how she wishes for a normal family. Zhang is sympathetic and tries to comfort her. Later, Lynn leaves and goes to the pet store, where she meets John and asks for some time off without explaining why. She says goodbye to the dogs and leaves, taking the bus with Zhang back home. When she arrives, she goes straight to her room without talking to anyone. Her father comes in and tells her the truth about their divorce and how they hid it from them because they were young. Lynn cries because her father lied to her all these years and asked to be left alone. The next day, she wakes up to find a message from Zhang saying he's at training and to call him if she needs anything. Lynn's brother enters her room and surprises her by knowing about their parents' divorce, but not telling her to avoid upsetting her. Lynn is touched by her younger brother's concern for her feelings. For on New Year's Eve, Lynn sits with her father and brother to have dinner together. However, she misses her mother and leaves them to go to her room. Her mother sends her a message wishing her a happy new year, but Lynn doesn't respond and feels sad. Suddenly, she sees fireworks in front of her house, which surprises her. She looks down and finds Zhang beneath her house, waving to her and sending her a message wishing her a happy new year and hoping all her wishes come true. Lynn is delighted and thanks him, enjoying the fireworks all night long. The next day, Lynn wakes up to find her mother at the door, but she doesn't respond and refuses to open it. Her mother comes downstairs, upset, and meets Zhang on the street, asking to talk to him to explain why she hid the truth from Lynn. She apologizes and asks him to stay by her daughter's side until she feels better. Zhang promises to do so and goes to their house, bringing Lynn breakfast and taking care of her. Lynn eats happily, and after that she goes out with Zhang and takes the bus with him. He closes the window to keep her warm and takes her to his house. Her mother is happy to see her and welcomes her warmly. Lynn enjoys her time at their house, feeling like it's her own home. She sees pictures of them when they were young and remembers their memories together, feeling emotional. Zhang enters her room and finds her crying. He tells her he will always be there for her and will never abandon her. He wants to confess his love for her, but she already knows what he wants to say. Zhang is surprised and asks her how she knew. Lynn hints that she met her mother and talked to her. Zhang becomes nervous and takes her out for ice cream. Of course, Lynn's eyes are bigger than her stomach, and she orders 5 for herself alone. When Zhang tells Lynn that she will be the one held accountable, he says she retracts her statement and asks for just 1. They sit together and enjoy their time, feeling happy. Afterwards, Lynn returns to her university dorm and starts organizing her things. She goes to meet John at the store, and he is surprised to see her. A customer enters and buys food for his dog. Later, Lynn receives a call from her mother. When Zhang finishes the call, he starts crying. When Lynn asks him why, he tells her that his wife is in the hospital and their dog has passed away. He lied to her because he didn't want her to get upset. Lynn is saddened by the news and remembers how her mother deceived her by lying to her so she wouldn't get upset. Later, she goes to meet Zhang and plays with his bike. She rides behind him to drive, but he falls on his shoulder and grimaces in pain. Lynn worries about him and wants to take him to the clinic, but Zhang asks her to take him to the hospital. When they arrive, he sends a message to her mother to inform her. They go for an X-ray, and the doctor tells him that he's fine, but his shoulder hurts. Zhang feels embarrassed, but insists he's fine and wants to move his arm. Lynn is surprised and suspicious, thinking he's lying to her, so she continues to hit him for deceiving her. When they leave the room, they find her mother in front of them, who accidentally saw them. She holds Lynn's hand to reconcile with her, but Lynn is still upset with her. Her mother informs them that she invited them for lunch. Lynn goes to change her clothes, and Zhang tells her he'll leave them alone to talk. After her mother finishes her work, she takes her and they go to eat pizza together. Her mother tells her she still loves her and asks for forgiveness, but Lynn says she hasn't forgiven her. She leaves crying. Later, Lynn meets Zhang and goes with him to buy a new cup to replace the broken one. The next day, she goes to the pet store and continues to play with the dogs. When she returns to the dorm, her friend confesses to her that she broke the cup because she's trying to impress Zhang, who likes Lynn, but she's not aware of it. She asks for her help to get closer to Zhang, but Lynn refuses and leaves her, crying. Later, Zhang's friend calls Jen and asks her to meet him on the roof. When she's late, he sits on the fence and people think he wants to commit suicide. Jen goes to him and they argue, and he confesses that he likes her and asks her to be his girlfriend. Jen agrees, and they hug, making everyone happy with what happened. At night, Lynn goes to meet Zhang, and she finds him holding a surprise for her, a bouquet of flowers. He confesses his love for her and moves closer to hug her. Suddenly, she wakes up startled, realizing it was just a dream. She wonders why she's dreaming about her friend and fears she might be developing feelings for him. Then, she receives a call from John, informing her that a dog has escaped. Lynn quickly puts on her clothes and rushes to meet him. They separate to search for the dog, and Lynn continues asking people about it, but no one has seen it. Eventually, John finds her with the dog, having gone to check on her. He admits his feelings for her, surprising Lynn. However, she apologizes and tells him she loves someone else. John is shocked and realizes she loves Zhang. They agree to remain friends. That night, Lynn is in her dorm thinking about how to get Zhang's attention, so he'll love her. Her friend enters with a new cup to replace the broken one, apologizing to Lynn. Lynn forgives her on the condition that she teaches her how to apply makeup, to which her friend agrees. They continue laughing and joking together. The next day, Lynn's friends choose clothes for her and she goes to the club. When Zhang sees her, he's surprised to see her wearing lipstick for the first time, and Lynn is delighted that he noticed. She asks if she looks nice, but Zhang jokingly says she looks like she ate a dead rat. Lynn gets annoyed but holds back from hitting him. Zhang offers her his jacket to wear, and Lynn is happy to see his kindness. She decides to cheer him on and praises every move he makes, calling him the best player in the world. Much to everyone's surprise, Zhang gets annoyed with her and tells her to stop being so enthusiastic. Lynn walks away embarrassed. Later, Lynn goes to the dog shop and is surprised when Zhang visits her and meets John. When they leave, Zhang tells her that John is kind and wealthy and encourages her to consider him. However, Lynn refuses and tells him that Zhang is better than him. Suddenly, Zhang appears and overhears her, making Lynn nervous and embarrassed. The three of them decide to have lunch together. Lynn remains annoyed with her brother and continues to hit him, jokingly claiming she's cleaning his clothes. At the end of the day, her brother bids her farewell, and she hugs him, wishing him luck with his studies. Lynn rides behind Zhang on the bike, happily hugging him. Later, Lynn realizes that Zhang's birthday is approaching. She decides to use the money she received to buy him a cake and a gift. She goes to his dorm and finds Zhang asleep. Lynn starts drawing on his face with a pen, annoying Zhang, who wants to hit her but refrains because he likes her. When she leaves the room, Zhang wakes up, washes his face, and follows her, pretending to be angry. He takes her back to his dorm and asks her to clean his face. They feel embarrassed being so close to each other. When Lynn finishes, she lights candles and gives Zhang his gift, a protective shoulder pad for training. He loves the gift and hugs her, confessing his love and hoping she'll be his girlfriend. She happily agrees, but their moment is interrupted by Young's friends, who feel awkward and leave. Young takes Lynn's hand, and they spend the rest of the day together. He drops her off at her dorm at night, and Lynn can't believe what happened. Young hugs her to assure her it wasn't a dream. She returns to her dorm ecstatic and shares the story with her friend. The next day, Lynn wakes up feeling happy after experiencing the feeling of love and liking it. She goes to buy breakfast for Young, but he tells her to return to her dorm. When she goes there, she finds him bringing her breakfast too, and she is delighted by his thoughtfulness. They eat together in the garden. Afterward, he waits for her after her classes with his bike, and she happily rides behind him as they go to have lunch. John sees them together and feels jealous. Young takes Lynn to the zoo to give her some space. However, seeing the animals confined makes her sad. They then stroll in the rain, enjoying each other's company, taking pictures, and spending quality time together. Young takes her to meet his family after they become closer. His mother is delighted to see her and says she's like a daughter to her. Lynn enters Young's family album, placing their picture alongside the old ones. In the evening, they walk together, watching the snow fall, and then they visit a familiar store owned by their friends. Lynn reminisces about the old days with the shopkeeper and brings them the pasta they used to eat together. She tells them they are a perfect match. Another day, Young surprises her with a gift, telling her she can only open it with a password he will reveal at the right time. They take the bus back to the city, and Lynn hesitates to let him sit next to her. But eventually exhaustion overcomes her, and she falls asleep on his shoulder. Young stays by her side to ensure she's comfortable. When they arrive, they watch fireworks together, feeling content. Lynn returns to her dorm, where her friends ask her about her outing with Young, making her feel embarrassed. At this time, Lynn's brother is taking his exams, and he manages to do well. He receives an acceptance letter from Lynn's university. He travels to the city and invites Lynn to lunch to celebrate this occasion. Young accompanies them. Lynn's brother tells her that he's waiting for someone. Then her roommate joins them and sits with them. Lynn's brother thanks her because she was a reason for his success due to her advice. He goes with her to the motorcycle shop where she usually shops, and he is impressed by her. However, she suddenly has an accident and falls off the motorcycle, and he rushes to check on her. They go to the hospital, and her condition is critical. When she wakes up, she continues crying because she might not be able to walk again. Yulin visits her and hugs her to comfort her. She asks her brother to take care of her. Later, the shooting team has a major championship. Lynn goes to bid farewell. She tells him that she hopes he wins. He hugs her and says goodbye. When the team arrives at the stadium, the captain of the opposing team, whom Young defeated before, approaches him and tells him that he will avenge his defeat and win in the final. Many players participate and the championship begins. They continue shooting arrows, and those with the lowest scores are eliminated in the first round. Lynn watches them from the stands, knowing that Young has reached the final round. She realizes that his opponent is the captain of the team he previously played against, and worries because he is a professional. They compete after a long time, just like the last time. Young takes the lead. When it's time for the final shot, Young feels dizzy and his vision blurs. However, he focuses his strength, closes his eyes, shoots the arrow, and successfully hits the target. The referee declares him the winner of the championship. Lynn rejoices, cheering his name loudly, and congratulates him over the phone for winning the title of the best player. His opponent comes to congratulate him and acknowledges his talent, but Young is still anxious. He continues training alone, but the coach notices him and advises him to rest so he can continue the rest of the tournament. The next day, the team competition begins. Young is tense and quiet. Unlike his usual self, his friend notices and asks him what's wrong, but Young remains silent as they continue shooting arrows. Their team is in the lead, and it's Young's turn to hit the target to secure the championship for their team. However, Young feels dizzy and his hand trembles. He struggles to see the target clearly, and when he shoots the arrow, he fails to hit it. Everyone is shocked because Young, the most skilled player in the team, has never missed a shot before. The university loses the championship. Afterwards, his friend confronts him and accuses him of intentionally missing the shot to win the individual championship and lose the team championship. Young doesn't respond and walks away, leaving his friend frustrated, yelling that he betrayed them after they trusted him and considered him their leader. When the team returns to the university, They are waiting for them, but no one from the team responds to Lin's congratulations on their performance. Lin is surprised and learns from her friend what happened. Later, Young tries to train at the shooting range, but he feels incapable of hitting the target and throws the bow on the ground in frustration. When the team follows him into the changing room and asks for an explanation, Young breaks their hearts, telling them that they are a burden to him, and none of them are at his level. He tells them he's quitting the game. Everyone is shocked by his words, and his friend throws his arrows on the ground, saying he doesn't deserve to be the team captain. Lin learns about what happened and looks for Young. She finds him sitting alone under a tree and tries to talk to him to understand the reason, but Young is sad. He tells her he decided to quit to focus on his studies. Afterwards, Lin walks with Young and asks him what he plans to do after graduation and if he wants to become a shooting coach. But Young gets upset with her and tells her not to bring up the subject again. He leaves her surprised by his behavior. Young goes to a place in the mountains and tries to practice archery without anyone seeing him. However, he fails to hit any target, and it's evident that he's feeling sad. Later, the coach goes looking for Young and keeps asking about him until he finds his whereabouts. When he enters Young's cabin and finds the archery board, he is surprised to see that Young can't hit the target. Young enters, and the coach asks him what he's doing there. The coach takes the bow and arrows and tells Young to follow him. He sets a distant and small target and tells Young to aim at it. When Young tries, he manages to hit the target, surprising himself. The coach tells him that he has a fear of the archery board because of what's on it, and suggests that he needs psychological rehabilitation. He offers to take him for treatment abroad, but Young says he'll think about it and leaves. Later, Lin is studying at the library when Young calls and asks to see her. She happily goes to meet him, and when she sees him, she hugs him, telling him she missed him. But Young tells her that he's going abroad to continue training. Lin is surprised and upset, telling him that he wants to abandon her and leave her like her mother did. She leaves him crying. Young feels guilty and afraid of losing her. He goes to the coach and tells him that he's not going to travel. The coach tries to convince him not to give up on his dream, but Young is determined to stay by Lin's side. At night, Lin walks alone, contemplating what happened, and tears well up in her eyes. She invites Lin to join her, taking her to the archery club. There, Young is training, trying to hit the target while crying. When Lin arrives, the coach explains everything about Young's condition to her and hands her the binoculars. Lin is surprised to learn that Young can't hit the target and feels shocked and sad. She continues to cry. The next day, Lin waits for Young under the dormitory, and they go to a restaurant. Young is surprised to see that his friend works there. Lin leaves them to talk, and his friend tells him that his father lost his money and can no longer afford the university expenses. The archery championship was his last hope to get a scholarship. When they lost, he had to work to cover the expenses. Young is saddened by his friend's words and feels guilty, and they drown their sorrows together. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and check out our other selection of recaps. Take care,